Hello and welcome. Today we're diving into something that I know is a huge frustration for so many of us, that whole promise versus reality of large print. Let's just get right into it.
Does this sound familiar? I mean, come on. You buy something expecting it to be easy on the eyes, and instead you find yourself squinting, tilting the page, just fighting to get through a single sentence. You are definitely not alone with this one.
And that's exactly what we're going to do in this explainer. We're going to pull back the curtain on these misleading labels and actually give you the tools to find a book that feels like a friend, not a frustrating chore. So let's start by really digging into the core of the issue, what I call the large print problem.
Okay, here it is. This is the big secret you have to understand. Labels like supergiant print, you name it, they are not regulated measurements. They're just marketing terms. Think of them more like vibes, not actual sizes. And because of that, they can be wildly different from one publisher to the next.
And the result of that mismatch between the label and reality? It's physical. You know that feeling of being completely wiped out after just one chapter? You suddenly realize you've been holding your breath, your shoulders are all tensed up, your eyes feel hot. That's not you failing, that is the page failing you.
And this brings us to what might be the most important point we're going to talk about. Readability isn't just one thing, it's a whole system. And figuring out how that system works is the key to everything.
Now, of course, the size of the type, the point size, that matters. It's a really useful starting point, an anchor. But it's not some magic number that's going to automatically guarantee comfort, because it's just one piece of a much bigger puzzle.
The best way to think about it is like a stack. Yeah, type size is at the top. But right underneath it, you've got line spacing. That's the breathing room between the lines. Then there's the contrast of the ink, the finish on the paper itself, and the overall layout of the page. When all of these things are working together, reading is just a joy. But if even one of them is off, the whole system can completely fall apart.
Let's just zoom in on one of those pieces for a second, the paper. Have you ever opened a book and just felt like the page itself looks tired, Like it's already exhausted before you've even read a single word? That feeling is very, very real, and it's usually caused by two main culprits. The first is ghosting. That's where you can see the text from the other side of the page bleeding through, creating this kind of gray, distracting mess. And the second is glare from shiny, glossy paper that can literally make the words vanish under a lamp. So, how in the world do you test for all this stuff before you spend your hard-earned money? Well, you use a super simple but really powerful tool, the 90-second readability test. Honestly, this is the most important thing you can do. It cuts right through all the marketing nonsense and tells you how a book will actually feel when you sit down with it at home. Okay, so here's how it works. It's so easy. First, pick a passage you already know really well. That way your brain isn't trying to figure out the meaning of the words. Second, just read like you normally would for 90 seconds. That's just long enough for that initial new book excitement to wear off. And third, and this is the important part, notice what your body is doing. Are you constantly losing your place? Do you start to feel that little tension, that grip building in your forehead? Your body will always tell you the truth. And you know what? That little test is also going to reveal a lot about how the page layout affects you. For example, a single column layout, it often feels a lot calmer, kind of like a regular novel. But if that test shows you're losing your line over and over, then the shorter lines of a double column layout could be a total game changer. It's not about picking the right one. It's about picking the one that makes reading easier for you.
All right, so now that we have a tool to find the right page, let's talk about a couple of the most common and expensive mistakes to avoid.
First up, don't fall for the hype. We've already touched on this, but it is by far the biggest mistake. You see supergiant print, and you just believe it's a guarantee. The big takeaway here is to always trust what your own eyes are telling you during that 90-second test, not what the fancy label on the cover says. And that brings us right to the second and maybe more sneaky mistake. This is the classic trap. You find a book with this massive 18-point font, and you think, yes, I've won. But if it's printed on that super thin, glossy paper that creates a horrible glare, well, that huge type size is pretty much useless. Remember, readability is a system. It all has to work together. So let's kind of reframe our whole mission here. This isn't about some endless, frustrating search for a perfect product. It's about a completely new mindset.
This right here is the shift. The old, frustrating goal was trying to find the best book. The new, empowered goal is simply to quit bad pages.
It seems like a small change, but it puts all the control back in your hands. You're not the problem, the page design is. And you know what the best news is? You can start quitting bad pages right now without even buying a new book. A simple line guide, even a ruler or a bookmark, can keep you from losing your place. A book stand can take the strain off your neck. And just moving your lamp so it shines across the page instead of straight down on it can kill glare instantly.
This is it. This is your new mantra. It's such a powerful, simple statement. You love to read. You just need a page that works with you, not against you.
So I'll leave you with this question. Maybe it's that book with the really shiny paper, or maybe it's as simple as moving the lamp next to your favorite chair. What is one small change, one bad page you can quit today to make reading feel like a joy again?